Hello, welcome to the program Big Talk on Global TV. My name is Topsy Gameboy, your host. Big Talk is a program that comes to you every day on Global TV, and it's important for you in this to know that it's a personalized program where we discuss issues. We bring them to the fore for those who care to watch us and understand basically what those issues are. Nigeria is actually on the path of going into another round of election by 2027, and politicians are already realigning themselves on how best they can get what they want to get. And exactly you'll be watching how coalitions have been going on, people defecting from one political party to another. It is on that note I would feel it was important for us to invite a high-ranking member at a point to be with us in the studio, not any other than Honorable Zakari Mohammed. Zakari Mohammed at a point in time was in the House of Representatives, where he served for 2 terms in 2011 to 2015.
Yeah, 2019, yeah.
Yeah, 2019.
2011 to 2019, that's 2 times.
Yeah, sure. Where he served in various committees, particularly I knew at a point where he served as the chairman House Committee on Media and Public Affairs. And again, served as the chairman on basic education and some other subcommittees. I know him at a point, a member of PDP, and then when APC was formed, he moved and joined APC. Now, I don't know basically where he belongs, looking at the way things are, because he's a politician. I know maybe he must be thinking one thing or the other to do. And that's the more reason why we decided to invite him to be with us in the studio this evening, so that he told us basically, and then looking at Nigerian politics holistically, and give us a basic answer concerning some of these issues. It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Oh, thank you very much.
Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's been a while, sir.
Yeah, it's been a while. Topsy, I saw you last in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I've been longing to see you like the way you are this evening with us on Global TV to discuss issues.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, I don't know, basically, you've been following the trend of things happening in this country, particularly political scenes, where politicians move from one place to another. Recently, stories are flying all over the place where they're really talking about, people leaving APC, leaving PDP, Labour Party, and all that to join a party that is now called the African Democratic Congress. Where do you stand?
Well, let me just, for the purposes of guidance, let my viewers know that my name is Zakari Mohammed. I represented Barutin Kayama Federal Constituency in Kwara State. I had the rare privilege and opportunity to be chairman of the Committee on Media and Public Affairs in the 7th Assembly, the spokesman of the House. Then I came back for a second time by the grace of God and my people and served as chairman of the Committee on Basic Education. In my second time, I went back to I started with the PDP, but at the formation of the APC. At the formation of the APC, we were founding members of the APC, and of course, on my second time, I came back on the ticket of the APC. But after, I went back to my party, which was the PDP. However, sadly, that the party has been engrossed in crisis, and that individuals have hijacked the party. The Wike and his friends have taken over the party, and some of us who think are not going to align with such stand, because it has a propensity to give Nigeria a one-state party. And of course, if we're talking about democracy, it's about choices, multiple choices. So I've aligned myself with the coalition to join the ADC, because if it's honorable for me to go join the APC rather than being an appendage of the APC in PDP. So why not go and continue with my political relevance in the African Democratic Congress. Yeah.
Can one view the attitude of a Nigerian politician to be a thing that it does not happen to any other person but just in Nigeria, where a person serves here and when he discovers something's really going on, he does not stay where he has been to ensure that...
Let me tell you something. The fundamentals of our party system, if we had continued with the policies and stands of the Second Republic, you will know that, for instance, if you are a member of the UPN and you won election on the basis of the UPN, you must follow the manifesto of the party. Free education is a must if you were in the Second Republic. And of course, you know that mass housing, agriculture was that of the NPN. And they did Green Revolution. and they produced mass housing that we could see, even though people call them bakery homes, but they have something to show for it. The advent of both the aborted Third Republic, Fourth Republic, and therefrom, the parties have nearly lost their distinction in terms of what they all stand for. So we will make these mistakes and correct ourselves, because you won't bring people from Pluto or go to the moon to bring people to run what is on ground. The mistakes we have made, we would be around to correct them. Then other people will take over from where we stop. So for me, I believe that sometimes it is about the permanent interest and looking for areas where you could further your political ambition selfishly. Yes, let me say that. Then how you want to serve your people. It's very important, because you need a vehicle. If there were independent candidacy, for me, I would have preferred to run on an independent candidacy thing, so that you avoid the bureaucracy of the party.
Yeah, if you paint the picture and then talk to me, basically, what is it now with the way it was when most of you left PDP to join APC?
Okay, what happened then was the fact that, yes, Jonathan's administration in the PDP, I think there was some silent agreement that Jonathan's administration should come to an end by 2011. But I don't blame him. If I were in his shoe, maybe I would try to contest and try my luck. Then, of course, the discordant tunes come out from there. Then, of course, there were policies that were being done, of course, then that were not aligned to the basic things on ground. For instance, the subsidy case, where he was saying then he wanted to remove the subsidy. Then, of course, he didn't have too much grasp and control on his appointees, because Jonathan, as an individual, is a very fantastic gentleman, but he was surrounded by people who never cared about him or about the policies of his administration. So you could see that some of them were running their own parallel freedoms. The then Minister of Petroleum Affairs, and of course the counterpart in the aviation and what have you. So when you have stronger appointees than the leader, then they will make all manner of mistakes that, of course, will affect the principal.
Can you compare what's happening now with the way it happened in Jonathan, that you feel by shifting ground, moving from one political party to another, you are likely to succeed by unseating the present administration?
Very, very, very. Because let me tell you, it's happened before. People tell me that President Tinubu is not Jonathan, but I keep telling people that, look, Mr. President is a creature of God. He's God's creature. And of course, we should stop this over mystification. What is important is that let's get our acts right. And do we, or are we comfortable with what is happening now in this country? How much was a dollar when the administration came in? How much? I'm coming. How much is a dollar now?
Actually, since the Nigeria became a sovereign state like the way it is, has there been any time that Nigerians wake up and say today is good? That you
no,
feel,
let me tell you something, Topsy.
Yeah.
It's the human nature. We're always searching. The day we have said, or we say that it's all good, it means that we have stopped existence.
Sure.
Because as we live, of course, there will be areas of comparison. There will be areas of thinking that, okay, things will have been done a bit better. And like somebody said, he said, if we're not careful and we get our basics right, previous administrations will be better than the future administrations. But I fail to agree with that postulation, to say that, look, if we have our facts right, we can move and do things. Because you see, the Nigerian today, is it better off in terms of the purchasing power like the Nigerian yesterday? In Jonathan's time, I think we were comparing to the current thing, I believe as Nigerians then, a lot of us were not fair to his government then, and himself as an individual, because how much was a bag of rice then? How much is it now? How much was dollar then? How much is dollar now? What is the purchasing power of even the civil servant? Yes, the money looks small, but you could buy a lot of rice.
What we are experiencing in this country is not just in this country per se, but it's a global issue.
Yeah, it's a global thing. But let me tell you something.
Because the economy is not performing well.
Let me tell you something. Nigeria doesn't have business by being with those countries that have deprivations, because we're blessed. It's just harnessing of our resources and getting our priorities very right. And like I used to tell people, if we'll prioritize what we do, definitely there will be more than enough for everybody to have. There's no perfect being anywhere. And of course, Mr. President's reforms that he's saying he's bringing are too many at a time. It's just like a patient who is in ICU, and you said you want to bring him up, but because of the enthusiasm of seeing him rise, you are introducing a lot of drugs into him. There will be after effects of the drugs. They will be working at cross purposes, and the patient, if you are not careful, you will lose him. So there are painful reforms that are coming up. Tax nets are being increased. Government is making more money, but the ordinary Nigerians are paying. People are paying. Poor people are paying. So what is our purchasing power? I believe as a country we could do better. Then of course our security too has been going down. It's been going down. A lot of spaces have now been occupied by non-state actors. How long can we continue like that? And of course, democracy is about choices. If we allow the current situation continue, and that the APC continues as a ruling party, in 2027 there will be no there will not be choices for Nigerians to look at.
But Honorable, being a politician like the way you are,
yeah.
If you realize that something is actually going on in the country, like the way you perceive it is it not better for you to remain where you are and then bring about those changes you would have expected to see them happening than really pulling out, like most of you are really doing? It has become a character for most Nigerian politicians. When he stays here, he does not see anything that is benefiting out of it. He pulls out.
Well, Tops, let me tell you, how old is a democracy? Definitely, when the people talk, they talk about advanced democracies. How old are those democracies compared to what we have now? What I will tell you is that they had gone through these phases before. And we can't import people from elsewhere to come and do it. It is the people that we do have. And I encourage people who are very, very grounded and focused to come and join politics, so that at least we could change the leadership and not see what things are going. Because let me tell you something. As it is today, the PDP has been decimated. Ditto for other parties too. So in 2027, God forbid, it will just be one government, one particular party presenting a candidate, like it is done in some African countries. And that is no longer democracy. You're talking about civilian dictatorship. And if it breeds, Nigeria is too big for an individual to say that he wants to be in charge. No. Let there be oppositions to check the current government. At the end of the day, the people will be the best for it.
Mm-hmm. So, but if you look at, if most people often compare the present administration to that of Jonathan, and for the fact that you are pulling out from the ruling party to form a coalition that the way...
No, I'm not in the ruling party. I had been in PDP since 2019.
I'm using the word you, not necessarily you particularly.
Okay.
Now, you're pulling out from the ruling party to a party that is called a coalition that you will fight the government of the day in 2027. Do you think, looking at the way this government is structured, do you feel it's going to be an easy fight for you to remove power from...
Topsy, I don't know why you're talking like that. You're a good student. You're a good student of history. And here in this country, an incumbent president was removed through the ballot. It is not impossible. It will happen. Because let me even tell you something that you don't realize.
The time it happened.
No, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Nigerians are going to be the ones to vote. If they want to continue with what we are having, no problem. Are you with me? Let's continue. But if they don't want to continue, because everybody has his own stories to tell. Everybody has got one battle or the other that he's fighting. Hunger is on the table. How much do you take to market? How much do you give your wife to take to market? The things are, and let me tell you something, most of the solutions that are being found to these problems are not working. But they are on semantics, on paper. The World Bank will be telling you that you are doing well. World Bank, what will they have told you? Because their interest is being massaged. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. For me, I believe that, yes, if you cannot ship in, it can be shipped out. Mm-hmm. So that let some other people come to. Those ones too, if they know that they will be removed, they would have to do the right thing. Because the truth of the matter is that we don't have the luxury of time and energy to be saying as a country that is going through a lot of problems, which out of our lives, yes, it's not caused by the current administration, but it's been compounded. That's the thing.
Can that be seen to be true? Like most people say that because you are not directly benefiting from a particular government like the way this government is. So the only thing is, as a politician, not necessarily that the government is bad, but you just feel as if you want to pull out and then fight the government because you are not directly benefiting from it.
No, for me,
that is the attitude of an insatiable politician.
You know, if you look at my own track record, I'm somebody who gets convinced about certain things. My friends are in government, a couple of them. It's easier, and they had made overtures to me to come and join them. But it's easy to go join them. It doesn't have any problem, and I will be given my own cut of it. But for me, that is not the thinking. I'm from a place that is not developed in terms of providing the basic necessities of life. No good roads, no electricity. So why would I, coming from that place, believe that, yes, my problems can be solved so easily, unless I'm involved elsewhere? You have tried at the levels of the positions that you have occupied, you've not been able to do that as a legislator.
Yeah.
So what exactly can you do? So for me, I see myself as somebody who would just be available with people of like mind to do whatever they can do so that at least our country will move better, especially security.
Honorable, let me ask you this question. I know so well, when Jonathan was in government, some of the things that they allegedly said he was not doing correct, and by the time he will be pushed out of the way they did, is likely, when you bring in a new government, you are likely going to face up some of these problems. They thought Jonathan was not handling them very well. But by the time the new government came and Jonathan was out, were we able as a country to solve some of these problems?
Can I even tell you something?
I just want to find out.
Can I tell you something?
And one of the issues I talked about was insecurity.
Like I keep telling people, I used to tell people that, look, if we had known that this is how the APC, for instance, because let me tell you, it's a party surrounded around individuals. If we know that Jonathan, with what is going on now, in the last 8 years, Jonathan's administration, Jonathan appears to be a saint. That's the truth. Because you see, comparing both, for me, for my faith will always tell me to let's say it the way it is. For me, I believe that in retrospect, we were not too fair to him. Because the same people who led us to protest and move parties, Mr. President, with due respect, was one of them who protested. People were on the streets of Lagos for days because fuel subsidy should not be removed. But he came and removed it. So I see that there could be some hypocrisy around there. And for me, APC was registered under Jonathan. He allowed it. Jega was the chairman of INEC, and he did. But is it possible to register a party that they think that is formidable now? No, because it appears as if there's state capture. Because the National Assembly that you covered, is it the same National Assembly that you have today? Topsy, you were in the House as a reporter.
Yeah.
You knew the fireworks. Is it the same National Assembly you have in terms of character? And the National Assembly is the bastion of democracy. It's supposed to be the House that will stand against certain things. But is it? When, of course, the legislature has turned itself as praise singers. The other day, the Senate President was singing in Lagos. It was very shameful, my brother. So, I mean, would this person check?
Well, that's the narratives we are getting.
It's not narratives. It's on the TV.
Yeah,
he sang on the TV.
The thing is,
and he turned himself to a choir master praising Mr. President.
The thing is,
so is it the kind of democracy we want? If that is what we want, Nigerians.
Nigerians Nigerians are the ones that are really
That's what I'm saying. That look,
Nigerians are the ones that are really suffering.
Let me tell you, because
what am I saying, so, sir?
By the nature of what I do now, I see Nigerians and interact daily with them, and I see what is going on. We go to the same market.
Yeah, honorable, you see, it's politicians have successfully turned Nigerians to be stupid to a point. We know that what they are saying is very, very stupid, yet we believe their lies.
Can I tell you something?
Why am I saying so?
For me,
we believe their lies in the sense that constantly they'll be telling you some of these issues you mentioned have been there for a very long time.
Topsy, don't let me begin to see you like a human rights activist rather than a broadcaster. Maybe, for instance, maybe because of the way you're going about your interrogation, I just believe that, look, we cannot just let it be. What is important is that let's add value and change our system. I believe that this country can do better than we're doing right away. Because let me tell you something. Mr. President is gone out now. They say he's in St. Lucia or somewhere. That's a local government somewhere in an island. Yes, we had cases of killings and all that. Has he made his time to go and visit them? Has he made his time to go and visit them? Let me tell you what is important is that the way we are painting the entire country, the map of Nigeria with killings here and there, I don't think it is good enough. Like it was said that if curbing them, because the first assignment of government is safety of lives and property, and it is very possible. Especially, there should be nobody above the law. For me, I believe whoever is behind these killings, because you see, let's forget about politics. You cannot play politics as long as there is no security. And let me tell you, insecurity is linked to high cost of food, because farmers cannot go to farms. And that's why you have to make sure that you take care of security. Insecurity, if you take care of it, people will go to their farms. Food cannot be as high as it is today. How much is a tuber of yam in the market? How much is tomatoes? How much is tetesi? How much is the purchasing power of an average Nigerian in terms of our GDP? So for me, I believe that this is not enough. We could do better.
Okay, Honorable, let me ask you this question. Many of these politicians that we've been seeing and listening to them speaking at various platforms are the ones I really saw a few days ago coming together to form what they call a coalition on the platform of a well-known political party, African Democratic Congress. These people that I saw, including, I don't know, but I think you should have been there, I guess. Weren't you?
Yeah, I was there.
Fine.
Why not?
These people at a point had served this country, and they had the opportunity of putting things right, but they refused, or probably they didn't see what they should do so, or probably they deliberately refused to do what they should do, so they keep on using those points for campaign subsequently. Now, gathering themselves again in a...
Topsy, I think... No, let me tell you something. I know where you are going to. The truth of the matter, I've told you, I said, if people are not comfortable with what is this, leave your seat now, go and contest.
Not like
go
that.
Entering politics. Let me tell you something
that...
No, I'm coming. One thing that some of you don't realize is this, is the fact that because you think that people have not done it right, do you think some people will not do it right?
But
let me tell you,
my worry, Honorable,
now,
most of the people who are saying they're supposed to do it right, were those people
it happened in 2015. The people who did it in 2015, were they angels? No,
they weren't.
So, my brother, let me tell you something. Except you are a government contractor, you would exactly know that things are not proper in this country today.
Yes.
And that, let me tell you something, the only way that the government will sit up is to have a viral opposition. It cannot be a state conquest now. The judiciary have their job. How can parliament fuse itself to the executive? Then nobody is checking anything. Look at that coastal road that you are doing. Do you remember it brought to the floor of the house? You don't spend government's money just like that. And it's going to trillion.
You have that executive fee.
No. The money is, no. It's just like the minister. The minister has threshold in terms of approval. For instance, I know after the last time, the minister cannot approve well above 100 million naira. He has to go to the FEC. It's deliberate so that nobody abuses power. Mr. President too has his own approval threshold. I can't remember now. But such a project should be taken for appropriation in the National Assembly. But it's not. I'm just telling you, it's just one aspect of that. It's just one aspect of it. Several other things. I'm not in the parliament. Several other things have happened like that. What I'm saying is this: forget about the semantics, forget about the grammar. How are we doing? Are we not better off yesterday than today? What are the things we can do to be better off today? Those are the questions. And we believe that there are certain steps that should be taken and that those are not the steps that are taken. That's what I'm saying. And let me tell you, nobody is a saint that can come and say, even if the person is dropping from heaven, we will say that he has not done it rightly, yes. But the truth of the matter is that I believe as far as human capacities are concerned, we could do a lot better.
Look at it, Honorable.
And you're a journalist. Have you done a vox pop outside?
Several times,
to talk to Nigerians about what they are going through.
I speak here. I'm not sympathetic to this present administration, rather.
No, because you are appearing.
No, I'm being plain.
You are beginning to sound like their spokesperson.
I'm being plain as a Nigerian because we are the people at the receiving end. What happens, whether it is good or bad, we are the ones. We've been there for a very long time going through some of those things you are really saying here.
Well, if you are a student of history, evolution in a country does not happen. Why does America, for instance, have the number of presidents?
Well, it should be deceitful.
I'm coming.
Because
it's not deceitful. The truth of the matter is that, okay, Trump came in, and people will say that Trump is brash. No, Trump is not straight. He's corny. The truth of the matter is that sometimes when you sit out and you look at certain issues, from the benefit of hindsight and whatever experience, we believe that things can be done better. Because you see what we have seen in our own little experiences, the fact that governance, it's not as difficult as it is appearing to be.
Yeah.
It's not as difficult as it's appearing to be. But the truth of the matter is it's about well-intention. And that the duty of the opposition is not to massage the egos of government. No, it's to make the government sit up for the benefit of the generality of the people.
Yes.
So, and that, you see, whatever it is, we believe that engaging ourselves in this manner is better than even saying we are. For people who have said, military intervention, I say no. Military intervention is not fashionable. Secondly, that is not the way to go. The worst civilian administration is better than a military intervention. So military intervention is out of it. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that we will use the same ballot box that we used to bring in an administration. We'll use the same ballot box to vote it out. Let's INEC be transparent. Let the judiciary sit up too. So that if these organs, because they are ancillary to victory in election, they are ancillary to elections. Yeah. When there are credible elections, for instance, it happened in Senegal now. A sitting government brought out a candidate and he lost. It has happened in several places and it can happen in Nigeria. It has happened in Nigeria before. It can happen again. So it's not about writing figures. It's about voter coming out to vote, to come and express their views through the ballot box. That's what we're saying. We're insisting. And we're not saying that everybody has to agree with what we're saying. But all these things we're saying, are we lying against the government? No.
But the gel of defection from one political party to another.
Aren't you seeing people who are defecting? No, aren't you see people who are entering? Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you something. No, when you compare with America, I laugh because you know why? No. I know it's a bad place, but let me tell you something. How many years has America been in democracy?
It's about 200 and...
How many years is Nigeria?
We are just there about 60 or so.
So, these issues must come. As we evolve, the better things will be coming. That's the way I see it. And that these politicians were saying, because let me tell you something.
Well, nobody starts a journey in a bad manner.
No, a journey of a thousand. No, because you people just what some of you are thinking is that we should just be looking at Mr. President and be clapping and be saying he's doing it. No, you have to. And that except you have another agenda that tops you are not allowing me to express myself. I'm your guest. You are asking me questions. I should address these questions, but you are just trying to make it appear as if let me tell you, what is happening is not strange in Nigeria. It is not strange in any part of the country. Is done. Why was in Senegal? Why did they vote out? Or even in Gambia that brought Adama Barrow? Why did they vote to bring in Adama Barrow or bring out the chap in Senegal? It's about change. So we too, can't we get things right? We are calling ourselves the giants of Africa. And every black man you see, 10 black men, you can be sure that 2, 3 are Nigerians. So if Nigeria is right, Africa is guided. And that's where we see it. And that we believe that governance should not be reduced to personal things. No, governance should be allowed to run as government. Individual things should run as individual things. That's the way we see it.
But you've been there for some time. I know 1970 you were born, I guess.
Yeah.
I know you've been watching the trajectory of Nigerian politics to where we are today. If you look at the way we got started to where we are, do you think allowing things to go like the way they are, we are likely going to get it best?
Yes, we'll get it best. Let me tell you something. By the grace of God, in the next few days I'll be 55. What I think and what I feel should be that I want a country that can be able to take out. I was in what do you call it? I was in Rwanda some years back. In spite of the civil war, I could see a country where deliberately things are being put in place. We have the resources. Let's not filter our resources. The kind of money coming to this government is more than what used to come in, because the task next, money has been going into governors. What is the checks with the governors? Money has been coming to the federal government. Where is it going? The monies that are coming are 3 times what it used to come in terms of revenue. Why can't we fix our roads? Why can't we let the railway works? For once, let's even have a country like Nigeria that has over 200 million population. We're talking about just 5,000 to 2,000 megawatts. The whole of, if you go to Makkah, the Grand Mosque takes 25,000 megawatts. The Grand Mosque alone in Saudi Arabia. And that is where it takes just 25. It takes 25 megawatts. A country over 200, we're talking about. We have oil, like they have oil. And they're using oil, they're using gas. We have those things.
Who has done it to us?
No, we did it to ourselves.
Fine.
And we believe that we can do it better. We can do it better by checks, because we cannot be sleeping and be allowing people do things as if they're running their private businesses. No. Let's begin to ask questions. Since the organs that are supposed to be asking questions have gone to bed, or they're in bed with them, as opposition, we must ask questions. And the truth of the matter is that you could do it better. And my job as an opposition is not to massage the head of the president. No. Our jobs as opposition is to check the lacunas, that you could have done this better. You could have done that better. So that nobody sits down and believes that everything we give at them, they'll take a hook, line, and sinker. No. People should ask questions for the benefit of governance in Nigeria.
Because I'm sympathetic to my own self and to any other person who's in Nigeria, especially those of us who are just struggling to live life.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Why am I saying so?
There's something in the news now.
Why am I saying this?
The beauty of opposition, the beauty of democracy. They say, okay, FCT minister, you're giving land to your son. What is he doing with such land? You had reduced the land of Abuja University from either 11,000. You have reduced 11,000 square meters or whatever, your acres. You have reduced it to a particular number, and that you are giving out lands to personal. That's clash of interest. And he's saying that I children, not Nigerians. I saw the responses. But let me tell you something. People must ask questions. We cannot sit down and be watching. No. Whatever it is.
What you have just said, these are the things that most of us are so afraid. The same people that are doing things in our eyes are considered not quite very good enough are the ones sitting right now as government and campaigning, telling us that this is wrong, this is good. And because we don't have the wherewithal to really fight the system, we rather sit back and accept whatever is being told to us, and then we get moving when we are pushed.
Well, let me tell you something. What makes democracy work?
But the most important thing is that people like you, who are more like, you have the vigor, the strength, and the capability to do what's supposed to be done and make Nigeria to move forward. You have the opportunity, being a lawmaker for a good 8 years. I think.
Yeah, and I have my track records.
Fine.
I have my track record. You can go to the YouTube and see my contributions. You could go and see exactly what I'm able to do in terms of impact to my constituency. That's the limit that the lawmaker can go. But the truth of the matter, and that we spoke against things that we think are not normal. And we did. But now, a lot of our members in the parliament are in bed with them. Some of them don't even shout. They don't ask questions. We did with Jonathan. And we were asking questions. You had more to report in Jonathan's time. If you bring in a borrow-in, we will ask you, how do you want to fund the repayment? What is this money going to be used for? That's the job my people send me to come and ask on their behalf. Is it happening now? Yeah. So you cannot blame.
But look at it, Honorable. You were a chairman ad hoc committee to something swap.
Yeah, oil swap.
Oil swap.
Yeah.
And when there is an ad hoc committee, then there was something wrong that needed to be straightened. That's why an ad hoc committee will be created and somebody will be appointed to be the chairman. It was done so that at the end of the day, when the investigation is being conducted or has been conducted, the result will be brought back to the parliament for it to look into it and see whether or not it is correct, so that we don't do what we have done yesterday. These are the things most of us are really worried about.
No, let me tell you something. The oil swap thing, as legislators, I'm coming, as legislators. Okay, you have not landed. Your question is getting too long now. It's going to be a comment.
Give me your own time.
No, I want to tell you that the oil swap thing, we did it, even though we met with brick walls at a lot of points, but we, within the limits of my powers and those of my committee members, we did what we could do. We submitted our reports. Implementation cannot be done by the parliament. Implementation will have to be done by the executive. We had to transfer some of this back to the executive. What were our findings? Was anything done about it? Because we recommended that certain people must even be jailed. We recommended that certain people must do a refund. We recommended that certain companies should be blacklisted. Was it done? But we have done our best.
No, that's okay. I brought the idea of your ad hoc committee that you chaired at a point to what's happening right now with the 10th Assembly, where right now, as we speak, they are scattered all over the 6 geopolitical zones for a constitutional review. This constitutional review that you parliaments have been embarking upon started not just in this 10th Assembly. It's been there, and I believe in your one time you did it in the first tenure that you were, and then the second time before you could step aside as the way you are. At the end of the day, what did Nigerians get out of it?
Okay, let me tell you, the whole essence of constitutional review is, the Constitution is a living document. It's not a perfect document. What happens from time to time is a review so that people can bring in things they think shouldn't be. For instance, I don't think the reason why the federal government from Abuja should have, or their agency, should be drilling a borehole in my village. Those kind of responsibilities should be shifted at best to the local government. If you look at the First Republic, wells were dug in the nooks and crannies of the north, and up to now you will see those wells there. Nobody did it other than the northern Nigerian government and via their local authorities. So I'm telling you a typical case. For instance, that's why constitutional review is very key. Okay, people have advocated for state policing because of the surge of insecurity. What do we do with that? Let state police be allowed. I'm an advocate of state police, so that, but people say it could be misused by governors. I say, let's start it first. Then there will be cases that will be handled by the federal police. There will be cases that will be handled by the local police. For instance, it will having to take instructions. You made the governor the chief security officer. He cannot direct the CP. The CP will have to take his orders from the IG via the AIG or DIG and AIG following that order. But the CP, the governor doesn't have, he's just the security officer on paper. So I believe that with the introduction of things like state policing, with the introduction of things like putting some things in the concurrent list so that they are not in the exclusive list, it will make governance and life a bit better. So that local authorities, for instance, I commend the effort of Mr. President in the direction of the local government funds, but it has not been. The governors are frustrated and nothing has been done about it. The local council, for instance, have autonomy and they can have their monies in their purses. There are some of us who can even say we want to go and be local government chairman to give service. Okay. So that you can, whatever experiences you have, you go and replicate it down in your local government. Then you become a local champion. So for me, I believe that that is a step in the right direction. But there are a lot of things that they are doing that are not following the right space. And the parliament that is supposed to guide them is not doing the right thing. Yeah. The 10th Assembly is, I'm sorry to say, it's there.
In the time past, we too were viewed in the same manner.
No. It's not as terrible. No. Look, let me tell you, the 7th Assembly stood for something. And that's why, even right from our leadership, who did they wanted? They wanted Right Honorable Mulika. That's what the government wanted. Yes. We said, no, we want to Tambwa. And Tambwa led us to begin to do those things that we're doing. And we told him, we said, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you are not listening to us, we'll impeach you. And we're his bosses, because we're the one who was primus inter pares, first among equal. When it came to 8th Assembly, they wanted Gbajabiamila. Amila. We said they wanted Dogara. And we got Dogara as Speaker. And we made sure that everything we're doing was in condolence. President Buhari never saw us and put us in the
You were just trying to exercise that.
No. Independent, and that's how it should be. Yes. The democracy that we are practicing, where we borrowed it from, the House of, the legislature is separate, the judiciary is separate, the executive is separate. Everybody has its functions, but everyone has the check over the other. And that's very important that that is replicated. But where there's collusion, the citizenry will suffer. And that's exactly what is happening.
But some of these projects that sometimes, or some of these policies, either amendment to the Constitution, calling for whatever, going to zonal offices for people to come and give views on what they should be, it should be changed in the Nigerian Constitution. And at the end of the day, when this exercise is concluded, by the time the tenure ends, nothing happens. Now, and then much money must have been expended to ensure that this thing should happen. I'll give an instance, Honorable. Look at the way Jonathan conducted, what do you call it? National dialogue, national confab,
yeah.
Where people gathered, they were brought from all corners and crannies of Nigeria to be around to deliberate certain issues. Points were made, and they agreed with the document and forwarded it. Until he left office, nothing was implemented.
No, I mean,
but I know how much billions of naira.
No, let me tell you. Then you ask Mr. President.
No, I'm only trying to.
What I'm trying to say, I remember we were in the house while the confab was going on, and some of us had our reservation about the confab. You have elected representatives by Nigerians who are in the parliament. You now went and said you needed people to go and deliberate on the same Nigeria. Of course, there's clash of interest. There is duplication of interest. At the end of the day, I don't think those recommendations have seen the light of the day. But what I'm trying to say is that those of you who are out, and the truth of the matter, I'm not a spokesman for them, but I will tell you that constitutional reviews are very, very key. They are key in the sense that if there are issues with the Constitution, as time goes on, things will have to be, I mean, like I told you about state police, let's remove it from the exclusive list. Let's bring it to the concurrent list. Education is in the concurrent list. Healthcare is in the concurrent list. We can even take even an issue, you know, those days, even abroad, there are local government police, county police, there are state police, there is the FBI, Federal Investigation Bureau. They come, and immediately the FBI steps into a matter. These other ones will back off. The local sheriffs will take up small stealing, small cases of fight, small in the neighborhood. And you see them drive around. If you go, you see the sheriff cars moving, you see the police will come. So I believe that let's stop this denial. Things like that should be introduced to the Constitution. And of course, if it is agreed by Nigerians, then...
You know why some of these issues have been thrown here on this discussion? It's just about letting Nigerians to know basically that these defections, we are beginning to see them happening in this country. These politicians moving one political party to another.
Coalition is not defection.
It's all about 2027.
Let me tell you, coalition is not defection. No, coalition. Let me tell you something. Maybe. Are you happy that we are getting a one state?
No people, strong members of the APC, who served with Buhari, now left and joined whatever they want to join.
Maybe when you invite them, they will be able to tell you their own views. But let me tell you something. If you see that a government is existing and just a party is existing, you have run to a one-party state, and it is very dangerous. The PDP, the crisis that the PDP is going through is being orchestrated by government in this way. They have their thought, and because the minister who is serving, who is the FCT minister, all the things that he's doing is how to undertake or what they want to do with the PDP. PDP has been weakened. But must we sit down and fold our hands? No. We must get a platform and to challenge some of these things. And from the time that we came up, yes, people have divergent views. We're not saying everybody should agree with us. But those who think that things that are happening can be a lot better can come and join us. And let's continue to let's better our country. The country is more important than any one of us, any individual. Because the truth of the matter is that there must be a country before there will be politics. Yes. That is very important. And I am loyal to country.
So let me politely ask you.
Because this country has afforded some of us opportunity to better our lots. And for me, up to tomorrow, I feel eternally grateful for the people who voted me, for the opportunity that this country has given me, at cost to represent this country outside. And for me, I believe that it is in my best interest for this country to do better and be better off.
Thank you, sir. But let me ask you this question, Honorable Zakari Mohammed. Let me ask you this question. In honesty, why not forming a new political party, and then most people are going into coalition with what's it called, with Africa Democratic Congress?
No, it's simple. Let me tell you something.
At the end of the day, it is causing stir. Because those who are said to be original...
No. That's not.
Original founders of the party are already moving...
It's long. Let me tell you something. On Wednesday when we did, Ralph Nwosu came with his secretary, with the entire executives and his BOT members. There's one Ibechuku that is one Dumebi that has been taken. The fact that you are a presidential aspirant of a party expires with the day that you had gone to contest and lose election. It's just like today, it's just like today, if you are given a ticket in a particular party, after that election, you are just a member. Do you have to be consulted? The organs of the party, legally, the people that are supposed to be seen have been contacted. And they signed off and say, let's use this vehicle. We have approached INEC with a registration, which happened during Jonathan's time. He accepted APC, and they approved it under JEGA.
What's happening now?
It's not. They would... No, Nigerians, what they call it, the ADC is their party. Why we're saying is their party is that they should have access to it. Because let me tell you, what we do is evolution. What we're saying is that there's no particular leader that is in charge in that party. What we have is a collegiate leadership kind of a thing. In the state, there's no one individual that they will say, go and meet Topsy. No, it's a collegiate. They will have maybe a leader, but of course, amongst them, there will be assembly of leaders, committee of leaders. And that is how it is, the collegiate kind of leadership. And that's a
really funny. Is a big talk. By subsequently, we'll be inviting you to endorse this program and the station particularly.
No,
so that
it's nice being around here. For me, I come around here, I don't even know that there's a big project like this here. So it's nice speaking with you, and I'm happy that you have me here.
Yeah.
By the grace of God, next time I'm coming, I'll be more prepared.
Thank you, sir. Let me feel you.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Well, that's how far we can go on Big Talk on Global TV. I have with me in the studio Honorable Zakari Mohammed. You watch him and listen to him, basically what he explained to us, what Nigerians are really doing and how Nigerian politics is going. We hope to see how it unfolds himself going towards 2027. My name is Topsy Gimba. We shall be doing that again till next week, so to speak. So do have a very lovely evening. We're out of the studio and see you. Bye-bye.